Okay. Again, thanks for the invite, Pakistan Dreamin. Really love to interact with you guys. Unfortunately, due to this COVID pandemic, we can't be able to meet. And but really good session and a good initiative. Especially congratulations to each and everyone. And as far as myself, I'm really love the big fan of the Pakistani food and the people who are really the passionate developers. I know I work with many of the developers in the past. The way you guys are really incredible in terms of managing, in terms of conducting the session and all. I was a little surprised initially when how this event is going to conducted, but this is going to be very rocking again. Each and every session is really awesome. Uh, but just give me introduction. Myself, Anindra, and I'm based out of Singapore. I'm working with Epistoki. Epistoki is the gold consulting partners company, and the Salesforce company headquarters in Singapore. And we have an offices in different countries, Ireland, and Philippines, some kind of a presence, and India, an offshore center. And we have our own office in Ireland as well, right? And headquarters in Singapore. And me and myself and other couple of executives were sitting in Singapore, right? And today I'm going to talk about a good session regarding security. Uh, I know few people are really interested about a couple of things, but I don't want to wait anything. I'll start my screen, and I would like to introduce again what I do normally and what kind of work that I do normally in a daily life, and how I'm pitching this session for helping for all the security related questions and the security related companies, and how it really help us to granular or make things tighten in terms of the data management, right? So let me share my screen, and so let me share. Hope you are seeing my, you're able to see my screen, right? Let me go and go for a presented mode. Okay, welcome once again. And myself, Anindra, and I'm going to talk about today's Salesforce event monitoring. Uh, Many of the people understand what is Salesforce event monitoring. It is one of the product inside Salesforce, which can help us to monitor your data to prevent the losses or any kind of a data loss inside system. And again, if you found any kind of a threat, and you could mitigate those threats to making to procure your sensitive data as well. So today I'm going to talk about a couple of details on how this real-time event monitoring is going to help us to tighten your security and tighten your data in your Salesforce platform, and how this data can be integrated to Splunk. Splunk is a real-time monitoring tool, and it's one of the best tools to build on the Hadoop platform with the HDFS architecture. And you can understand the integration with Splunk and how you could visualize the data on a bigger picture. Of course, this real-time monitoring gives a lot of insights with the internal Salesforce application, but bigger enterprise companies want to integrate your real-time data, because this data is going to be stay with you for the just 30 days. The last 30 days data will stay and store under big objects. But unfortunately, many enterprise companies want, hey, funny, I want the data to be, so there's a millions of transactions going on, and I want to be place this data inside Salesforce. Where Salesforce, I don't have a rows to be stored inside Salesforce, and I don't have a data storage to be Salesforce. And people really think about, hey, I want a separate tool to bring the data in and then build some visualized graphics. So as far as I know, I think there are some tools which really gives the best out of analytics. But in terms of data which is in motion, I believe the Splunk is a perfect tool to travel the data from Salesforce to Splunk and then give you some visualized graphics in a fraction of seconds, right? That's what I'm going to talk about. What kind of tools will definitely give you a kind of a preservedness to give perfect data, perfect visualization of the entire your monitoring system, right? So without any delay, I'm going to jump into how it can help us to mitigate your entire complete security elements inside Salesforce, and how real-time event monitoring in Salesforce to help us to get a visibility and automate your entire Salesforce data, right? So as again, myself, Anindra, I'm a CTO of Epistoki. I'm a certified enterprise architect with Salesforce as along with AWS platforms, and I'm a MarTech solution architect as well. And I've recently appointed as Salesforce Marketing Champion 2021. And coming to certifications, I'm not, guys, don't worry about it. I have 32 or something. When you keep learning, you get certified, and then it doesn't matter that I have so many certifications where I'm not a pro in the Salesforce. Even I to learn a lot of things. I need to know whole lot of things from all the people, whether you are a 1-year student or whether you are a fresher, whether you are an experienced guy. So I'm happy to listen everyone's notes and happy to learn from each and everyone, and then give the same kind of efforts through my blogs, through my LinkedIn post, through different channels. I'm going to engage with all the people, and whatever the help needed from you people, I'm happy to help you on this. And again, I'm a passionate AI plus ML architect. Before I come into Salesforce, I've done some fantastic artificial intelligence kind of a chatbot and machine learning kind of a concepts. I work for different Google Cloud machine learning and TensorFlow. So I connected different systems to make human life easier. And apart from this, I'm TOGAF certified and CSM certified. Okay, so let's jump into security. I know many people think that, hey, Pani, how you make your entire world a digital imperative, right? People think like, I want to make my system as safe. Somebody comes to me, Funny, we are really strict European company having a couple of GDPR and a lot of PI compliance. How you want to make secure? How you want to make secure my entire application? And at the same time, I want to make sure my system is very compliant, because the audit comes to my platform and then they'll make a lot of complaints, and then I don't want to breach my data to be available for any of the people, right? How to make complete secure system, at the same time how I could make my system as secure, how I could make my system as so much of compliance to make a more innovative ideas, right? We have a total 5 to 6 key elements where typically any enterprise architect sit and say that when vendors comes, right, like when we open for RFPs or RFQs, we'll request a very most key element called security, right? At the time of maybe down the line, when you go design, you implement your third element is like security, right? Without security to be passed by any of the company, your application, I'm 100% sure it won't go live, right? One thing is the data loss prevention. How you make a data loss to be prevented? How you want to keep the transaction policies? So somebody is coming every time. Somebody is looking at your data 100 times, 1,000 times, right? But how you want to make sure that guy not to look at 1,000 times, right? At the same time, how your users in the Salesforce application behaving differently? You don't have a visibility, right? But you want to make sure, as a manager, as a network manager or security manager, I want a visibility what's going on, right? At the same time, I want to make sure a threat management, these guys are doing something wrong. I think there is something which happening inside my Salesforce systems, right? And my company, I'm almost working with many enterprise systems. Salesforce is one of the key CRM platform for me. I had invested millions of billions of dollars in Salesforce CRM platform, and at the same time, I have so much of millions of users are landing into the system. I have plenty of users. I have plenty of support engineers. I have plenty of support agents. I have plenty of sales, say plenty of BDMs. So overall, I have hundred and thousands of users are sitting in Salesforce because I'm investing thousands of billions in the Salesforce system. I want to make sure. I want to make sure, and then stick that it should be a very tight and secure, right? By doing all this, as the digital imperative that what I'm talking about, every data in the current systems moved to the cloud than ever before. Look at this. When we are in 2020s, when we are in 2010s, 2000s, when I started doing my engineering, where I'm frankly when I started engineering, where I really don't know the computer. Do you imagine like the systems we are in a 2000 20 or 2K, but really don't know how the platform works and how the laptop look like, right? So at the same time, when we use a lot of Excels, at the same time when I use a lot of PI data, I'm going to capture my engineering graduates, maybe doctors' information, first name, last name, email, phone number, right? So there are some location data which I'm going to capture. There are some social data which is going to be traveled all together with different apps, right? You use different apps like LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Bingo, a lot of apps. At the same time, health data. Nowadays, people think like, okay, the data which is available in health, your neural design system, or your blood pressure, or your cardiac system, all the ratios of health data, along with the web data. Really, humans are really smart, right? So people do whatever they want. Like they do scrapping, they do kind of they scrap your entire website and bring some kind of a good PI, right? And looking at people in the entire world, financial data is very much important. and nobody want to give their SSN numbers or any kind of credit card numbers or debit card numbers, right? So we are all this data before our last 120 years or 25 years is like Excels and putting somewhere, putting in notepads or as such, right? But now, as we were moving cloud, and an opportunity that we have to create a new kind of a customer experience and the customer success. How do you want to prevent not this kind of data to be launched, and how do you want to prevent this data to be make sure your each and every customer is very important in order to grow your business? That's where that motivation brings up a perfect scenario for every person to make sure the data should be protected in cloud. So everybody thinks like, hey, I'll ask one person, hey, guys, I have my business and I would like to build an innovative and trusted apps. Do you really help us? Like, how you want to build a trusted app, how you want to challenge to each and every person. If I take any of the app in my mobile, so what I can do, I can just download the mobile, download or install my mobile app, and then I just look into it. It's saying that when I look at the mobile, I see when I click on view all, I see all the people who submitted their data. I see all the people first phone number, their mobile address, their entire financial data, right? So it seems like a trusted app which requires a transparent and a private sense and a security as well as a compliance. So in a real IT, in order to make all these things, what will happen? So there are things where you can implement a lot of things, right? So as every company asks like, hey, Fanny, I have different systems. Can you make a single sign-on, right? In order to have a seamless login, right? At the same time, Fanny, my security comes up saying that I want to make a password policies to be arranged, and I want to make sure my policies to be standardized, and that should be have some kind of a character length, right? At the same time, Fanny, if you would like to implement an identity licenses, can you make an identity using ping federated third-party IDs like token authenticators? And system administrator seems like, hey, Fanny, I want to make sure for the last 6 months, what are all the people are doing an audit trials, a set of audit trials, and people are logging through HTTPS, people are logging through profiles permissions and mobile security, encryption, MDM, master data management, IP logins, sharing rules, field level security. So now look at the current generation, look at the current ID, how we evolved from the day 2K to 2020 or 2021. So it's been moving around and then give the best out of the features. And at the same time, it gives a lot of compliance, a lot of security for each and every app, and make sure the customer feel good in order to log in with your app and feel good to success with your business, right? It comes around with all these things. We were on a Salesforce ecosystem for the past couple of years. And you see the day when we started 2007 and the day now we were in 2021, moving to 2022, how the product has been envisioned, how the product has been grown like a faster. Initially, it comes with Sales Cloud, right? Service Cloud, Community Cloud, now Experience Cloud, now App Cloud, Lightning, and recently we got a machine learning code T52. Look at how the people are doing out in and out. We were like a top-notch industry with different kind of layers, different kind of an architecture. We have an application services, we have a network services, we have an infrastructure services. So what else is missing in the CRM applications, right? And that's why Salesforce makes the world's #1 trusted customer success platform. That's why people really like us and put together a good application to be built, and then rapid within 3 to 4 weeks, we are making their life easier to up and running for any kind of an application, right? At the same time, people concerned with the compliance security, and still it's an innovation, right? So initially, guys, when you look at when you create a field, a Salesforce custom field, when I go and create an email ID, so initially I don't have a compliance. When you see in the Salesforce now, besides every field that what you're creating in Salesforce, it will show your compliance, the compliance saying that HIPAA, CCPA, CCNA, HIPAA, GDPR. So it gives you all the kind of a classification types, the categories of classification. Then you choose a perfect classification so that a Salesforce system and the data servers itself is going to make your data to be super protective, right? That's where a sellout system regularly burns out with different kind of laws at what I've said. Now when I look at the 2020, 2027, we were on a large part. Now the compliance is going to be very vast in that time, in the next 5-6 years. When we are at 2007, I really personally don't know what is CCP, what is a Federation Labs, what is HIPAA compliance, what is FINRA. Frankly, I really don't know. Now, we were an expertise on the security and the compliance, and most of our customers, really, trust me, most of the customers, now 70 to 80% of the customers are not engaged with the companies which has all these laws. But now, every company, even in Singapore has their own law which has been introduced in the last 2 years back. So even Singapore and different multinational companies, multinational countries have the branded security focus, which is turnaround. Now CRM is like, that's what CRM comes with, the number one customer success platform. Now comes to different kind of a Salesforce. You thought about why Salesforce. You thought about why Salesforce security. You thought about we gone about why security is more important in your real lifetime. And now we're going to talk about what are all the different security which is available in Salesforce, right? When you talk about different products in Salesforce, I personally work with many enterprise companies and which has enabled all the security techniques and the security products as well. One with a Salesforce Shield. A Salesforce Shield comes with a three kind of a tool, a three kind of emblems. One with a product monitor and a reading critical Salesforce data. You can see Salesforce Shield. It comes with a lower level product called a platform encryption. The platform encryption is nothing but to encrypt all your data to make sure, apart from system admin who has a right permission set of platform encryption or the view encrypted data, only those people can see the data. Rest all the people, they can't see the data. It has a tightly secured SHA 256 keys to be enabled in the backend, and the tenant secret should be generated, which can be stored somewhere in our network.txt files, which never be exposed to anyone. That's the level of security which is given by, it's the best security that what I've seen so far with platform encryption. Point number 2, event monitoring. Of course, we have encryption, but still you really don't know. Somewhere we are feeling like saying that something is going on, guys. I'm really not sure what's going on. I want a best product to be installed to be Salesforce application because I'm an enterprise which invested in $10 billion dollars every year into the Salesforce application. But make sure I want to understand what's happening with my system. I want to monitor each and everything, what's happening with all the system logs. I have so many logs. I have setup log, I have objects, fields, applications, pages, VF pages, reports, dashboards, Apex logs, everything I want to monitor. I want to make sure everything is going to be secured. That's where event monitoring will come and play a huge role, right? Third thing is the field audit trail. Before 4 to 5 years back, the field audit trail is something like field audit trail is something like people thinks like, okay, Salesforce is giving a 6 months audit trail, and then it gives a minimal kind of a field audit permissions, like the person who changed the field and the person who logged in and the person who changed the password, the minimal number of fields that can be done through field audit trail. That is an out of the box, and people can go and then download their last 6 months field audit trail data in order to look at the logs, what's happening. But as I said, CRM is not a kind of a platform which builds on a different kind of a layer structure, right? We have an infrastructure service with secure data centers, which is sitting in different. When I talk about secure data centers, my nearest center will be Japan, the Kobe, right? And the same thing, India has been comes up with their own data center, and Singapore is planning to have their own data center in the coming years, right? That's the level of focus that we currently have with the secure data centers and different products with Salesforce, like Marketing Cloud connected to AWS, and at the same time, different products, the Financial Service Cloud and all hosting in AWS. So we are enlarging to have a partnership with many of the enterprise companies to make sure our customers feel happy to access the data, at the same time to have trustworthy on the enterprise company called Salesforce, right? Along with backup and disaster recovery, real-time application, third-party certifications, all has been supported in infrastructure services. When coming to network services, we have encryption, we have penetrations, we have secure firewalls, we have IP logins. At the same time, application. At the time of application, we have like single sign-on, identity, password policies, to MFA, roles and permissions, objects and field level security. You can see field and role level security. So you see how secure a platform is, starting from your infra, starting from your network, starting from your application, and now the shield. And on top of it, to make visualize your entire life, even monitoring. Correct? You can see the shield, what I've talked about. You have a product, you have a complaints to be made, and with the industry regulations, and you want to encrypt your product data and read in your complete audit logs And apart from this, to have a more additional security with your sensitive data, as a person, I want to make sure my each and every org within Salesforce is going to be fully trusted security with full security policies, right? In order to make this, once you made your system as compliance and audit regulations, your Salesforce is perfectly adopted, and then you are a fully optimized performance system, and then you can look at your ROI, look at your identity, look at your improve your key application patterns, right? So that's where it help you to improvise your system, right? You can see the shield, what I'm talking about. Encryption, the platform encryption. You see here the platform encryption and how to enable this, and you can see BYOK. See, BYOKK is like bring your own key. So people think that hey, tenant secret has been missing out, and then unfortunately I can't able to decrypt the data, or I can't be able to replace or restore my existing data as such. So don't worry about it. Salesforce is very much concerned about all your data, and they're very much concerned about keeping your data safe and secure all the time. And if anybody missed their BYOK key, please reach out to support, and they can help you out to replace that key or to generate their own key with raising a support ticket. But however, guys, don't miss the key. If you miss the key, I think there's a lot of fussy is going to be happening, and then make sure we were up to the mark, and then keep that key somewhere in the .txt file to keep that in somewhere in your network security locations, very safe locations. And as I said, you can see here, monitor or the event monitoring. The one which we're currently talking about or currently focusing on, what is event monitoring, and I'm going to talk about a lot in event monitoring and how it really helps us to make every security manager or security head life so easy and becomes more powerful to have the kind of an audit mechanisms and all, right? And the audit trail is something that everybody knows that how many number of fields, how many number of changes has been happened, and all these details will be captured under audit trails. Let's see, how do you want to begin to unlock the usage data? Encryption is what I'm talking about, is like the PI data. I'm going to encrypt email, first name, last name, phone number, or any other SSN numbers to be encrypted so that nobody can see your data, right? Any of the users which don't have a view encryption policy, a view encryption permissions or license where people cannot see the data, correct? And but as a security manager, I want to go a little bit up, and then I want to check, hey, what's going on. I mean, I know encryption is there, but millions of users are sitting in my org and different countries. I have my CRM org which is using by different countries. I need to know exactly what's happening, right? That's where I'm going to begin to unlock the data and make a best visualization in order to understand what exactly it is, right? That's where we are introducing today the event monitoring. It's one of the powerful security tool inside Salesforce to prevent or mitigate your threats, to make your sensitive information. Nothing is going out, guys. This is the best tool that, and again, I personally implemented for 4 to 5 implementation for big enterprise companies. So the big enterprise companies, you heard about that Tokopedia. Tokopedia is one of the number one Indonesian e-commerce platform. At the same time, implemented for GoCheck, and GoCheck is one of the giant in Southeast Asia. And we implemented for UBP, kind of a demonstration we have done for UBP, Union Bank of Philippines, and we did for some other 2-3 customers as well within Southeast Asia. So that's where the enterprise companies are more secure in terms of looking at this kind of a data. But I'm really thankful for the Pakistan team to have this kind of a session, and this kind of a session to be introducing in this Park agreement, so that every people can understand the concept, flexibility, and security, compliance, and the benefits of this app. And this is very easy to use. This is incredible. This is really good, incredible kind of application. And I can explain you by step-by-step process how to install, how to get the dashboard, how to design the flows and all that, so that you people can go and then find out how it can be beneficial for your own companies or your own customers, correct? Now, this is event monitoring. To monitor your users' activity, your entire users' activity, the logins. When you go the normal out of the box, what out of the box it will give you, guys? When you go out of the box, the out of the box capabilities gives you the user's login information, who logged in, who logged out, who logged in with any other user through setup audit trail, who modified the field, what kind of data type has been changed, and who has done what. But this is on top of the more functionalities. This is overcome by the out of the box functionalities, and then it gives you the more details about the users that I can showcase. Apart from this, apart from the monitor users activities, we have the best out of the breed enhanced security. Enhanced security is nothing but a transaction security policies. People think that Salesforce people or the business teams that, hey, oh, event monitoring is just like perform the user activity. Oh, I have so many number of dashboards where I can go and see the logs and all. That's not true, guys. Event monitoring is more than that. That is something like to alert your managers. You have a security managers, you have your security heads. You need to understand, I'm going to define some policies. Take an example of single policy saying that Funny is sitting in North Korea, and then Funny is accessing some kind of a data, and Funny has the session ID which is active. Everybody can logging into the first time your session ID which is already active, right? So Funny is going to be one session is active. Funny is really smart, and he's going to log in with his VPN sitting in North Korea, and then he's going to access some US beneficial data, right? So in this kind of scenarios, using security transaction policies, you can block the user not to log in with the not logging into the system which you already have an active session, right? So you're trying to log in once again with the new active session. Then in the back end, I'm going to write some security policies. If the person logging with an active session and he's going to log in with another active session, try to block the user not to logging into the platform. So this is one of the example, right? Something like this. When you're trying to log in, I'm going to send an email to you, right? You guys saying that you're doing some kind of a breach, and at the same time, I'm going to send a push notification to your own manager, so that your manager will review your progress and then make sure they'll make your life so easy, right? So that's where. Not only that, there are so many policies I'm going to talk about today, guys. So let's see how it can really help us to make sure your security is top notch. Okay. And apart from a single example, I'm a little concerned about a few countries, especially North Korea and some other countries. I want the people who are logging from North Korea, I'm going to block completely from those guys. People are really smart, right? People are looking with Russia, North Korea, or any other countries where they're logging into the platform with using VPN, and then they're going to access your security data. So using transaction security policies, any people logging from North Korea, Russia, or any other country, I'm going to block those guys. They don't have an access to logging into the platform. Something like this we can use. We can write some policies and block these guys. These policies are two types. The policies are point and click. The policies are Apex programming. We have a different security transaction interfaces available, which you can write a code and then we can block the people. The simple funda. Salesforce provides that click on config capability. Let's leverage. If a customer comes saying that I want more, let's build a program and then let's satisfy the customer. Simple thing, right? Apart from this, you have two levels. Then there is one more called threat detection. Threat detection is nothing but customers where there are so many reports going in and out, right? So unfortunately, as a system admin, I forgot to create a folder for one set of people, and then I forgot to add them into a folder to access only these folder reports. But unfortunately, I forgot to add them. I created a folder, but unfortunately, I've not added any profiles or roles to the corresponding report folder. So in this case, as it's my mistake, but what I know, the people are really smart. They can access all the reports, and then they're doing all the kind of a breach, whatever they're downloading the reports and everything. So using this threat detection, we could understand, and then we could block the people not to download the irrelevant report that they are not relevant for. So those kind of a techniques which is available inside event monitoring, right? You see here the key components. The event monitoring key components are 4. One with the log file. Log file nothing but simple. Every object has a logs, right? Every activity that what you're performing with an object is going to store under your log data. So the same way, event log file monitoring has event log. There are some 49 to 51 objects available which supports on the event monitoring to monitor all your logs for those objects. And at the same time, talking about real-time monitoring. Real-time monitoring is nothing but, as I said, people logging with different session IDs, which is active, people logging with different countries, people trying to download certain kind of reports, people trying to download some kind of a confidential information. So there are some objects called 8 to 9 objects are available in real time. It's a real time. Event log is a batch kind of an object, 49 batch objects. But apart from event log file, because this data will be storing, it will take 24 hours, guys. Every 24 hours, the data will be refreshed and then stored under Salesforce. And the time which give you the latest data take a 24 hours of time. That was the only lag. Apart from this, to mitigate those lag, a real-time event monitoring and introduced by Salesforce and long back, and then that gives a more comfortability compared to the event logs, right? And transaction security, that what I'm talking about, the real-time transaction policies, which people you can send an email, you can send an app notification to your security managers or security heads, and threat detection, the one which I'm talking about, right? So these are all the four core pillars inside event monitoring package. This is a queue, a complete Salesforce queue, which you could ask for your account executives to install in your org, and then to make sure enable all these four. Okay, they're all the high pillars of event monitoring. And you could see here, funny, you told about what is event monitoring. You talked about what kind of scenarios which people will look into about, and you talked about the four core pillars of event monitoring. But want to understand the visibility and automation, how you want to make sure this can be enabled. The one which I'm talking, right? Programmatic policies, programmatic things, right? You can see events. How we were capturing all the events. You see the events: log out, login, bulk API, Apex execution, Vigil Force request, URI, REST API report. These are all the events data which is available in Salesforce, right? And then all these event data will be captured inside Salesforce. Okay, and it captures almost like more than 49, but currently it is old data, old sheet. Sorry guys, but it captures more than 41. And out of this, using these events, all the data will be stored under this entire data has been designed using an Einstein as your data flows, right? When you create a new template from event monitoring, it automatically backend the one flow will be created, and that flow daily it will be regularly runs every 24 hours to store the 24 hours data back to Salesforce. And that gives a complete pattern about in all the dashboards. Based on the dashboards, you could analyze your metrics in order to perform some integrated analytics app, partner ecosystem, and all this patterns you could take in insights. And the policies that what I'm talking about, the real-time and transaction security policies, through click on config and through programmatic. You can see here, I can write some kind of an interface. And as I said, the active session, which is active already, and then he's trying to do one more session with some, you can see the code snippet. If active session greater than or equal to 2, then make sure you just need to block this guy, not to log into the platform. And this can be drive through different kind of object interfaces are available, like location of interface, Apex interface, device Apex interface, role interface, everything available. So you could leverage this to build more intuitive policies upon the customer request. And you see, once a policy has been triggered, and I'm going to block this guy, and I'm going to have some authentications. So sometimes where if it's an internal user, I'm going to ask them to access through multi-factor authentication. When somebody like me, that is report is not relevant to me, but I'm going to access that report without my permission. But somehow I got an access to read that report or view that report, right? So as our system event monitoring admin, the people who logging or looking at the report require MFA authentication. So you could have a multi-factor authentication. You could send an in-app notification to your security manager or your manager. So all these permissions, all these trigger policies, trigger events, which help you to take an action. So these are all the four visibility and automations that Salesforce event monitoring gives you to check it out. And you can see the log files, what I'm talking about. You have more than 41 supported types are available to capture all the event logs. And all the event logs, which is available in Salesforce object reference document, and you could check it out. What kind of data is going to be captured? What kind of event log is going to be captured, right? And you could see the events where Apex, continuous content distributions, reports, package installations, sandbox details, and you can see lightning interactions, Visual Force request, and all the data. All the data you can calling as event log. One single object, plug event log objects. All this data will be stored under the event log files. Okay, and you can see here how you can make sure once you got the data, once your data flow runs, the event monitoring data flow runs, what kind of data should be available inside Salesforce to make sure the data should be visualized. So it has a seamless integration. As I told, it's very easy to create an analytics app, an event monitoring app, and then immediately, once the app has been created, once the data flow has been run, immediately Salesforce by default gives you out of the box 16 dashboards. The 16 pre-built out-of-the-box dashboards gives you or comes with this kind of a package, this kind of event monitoring queue, which can help us to identify, to visualize your entire data. And it's easily configurable and customizable, as I said. And as I said, guys, within the data flow, you could tweak your changes as per the customer. You could configure using SFDC object nodes. You could configure using dictionary variables and everything. So there's no stop at all. It won't affect, or it won't it won't disturb you anything. You could extend your capabilities more. Okay. So just give me a second. I'll just drink some water and then I'll stop this. But let me see if anyone has any questions meanwhile. So I'll go and then check it out. Can we expose event monitoring data outside Salesforce? That's what I'm saying, right? So I'm going to talk about some Splunk, guys, Mohammed. We can integrate Salesforce with Splunk and then map and then move this event logs to Splunk, so that Splunk also gives you the big HDFS architecture, and you would make sure you could use best out of the breed. How long this can be accessed? How can be tracked with event monitoring? Good question, Anish. This data is going to be stored under only 30 days. The last 30 days data will be stored. Let's take an example. Today I install my app. Today is 18 September, and my data will be available. Last 30 days data will be available. It captures only last 30 days. When I go tomorrow, 19 September, then 19th, 18th August data will be wiped out. That's where people come and ask me, hey, 30 days is very less, guys. I want to at least make sure 90 days would be real and efficient. Look at this, guys. This is data, even monitoring data, the logs. Logs are very huge, right? So it's going to store millions of records into the Salesforce, right? And we don't have that much capacity to store all the data into big objects, because every event monitoring package comes with three kind of editions. One with 10,000 records of data, 10 million, 100 million records of data. I can showcase where you can go and then see your edition. You have event monitoring basic edition, event monitoring plus, event monitoring, some 3 editions are available. That editions will give you the number of rows to be stored inside Salesforce. All your event log data will be stored in Salesforce with that kind of a capacity. As an enterprise company, I see 10 billion rows, I think 10 billion rows or 1 TB rows, but I'll check it out. I'll show you, but let's see how it works. I'll show you guys. Can we try the previous data into an external cloud and archive the previous data? That's what I'm saying. Every company comes and saying, funny, 30 days is not efficient, guys. I want at least 90 days, right? So what I can do is, I can think about as, again, all this event stream data will be stored under our big objects, the big objects. Okay. So as people think that, okay, funny, why don't we create a custom big object and then store all the 31 data to the custom big objects? Of course, you can do it. You could target to integrate with your S3 if you have the capacity. You can integrate this event log data with S3. But I personally feel, and I have done integration to Splunk. I have done integration to Splunk to connect Splunk as a connector to Salesforce, guys. You can directly connect some of the objects data to Splunk, and then you can store in the Splunk database, because Splunk will give you a lot of data, as you know about, right? I personally feel like I've installed, I have more the data to Splunk, and Splunk will give the more kind of visualization. That was the best out of it. Just give me a second. Okay. Let me go back to the presentation and go to the mode. Yep. So we talked about all this data, all these details, right? And let's move on to what kind of feature is available. What kind of, as Mahmoud asked me, saying that funny, how many number of records and all. Again, you could see here. Your feature, the number of rows of data, even monitoring analytics, Einstein Analytics platform. You can see here, analytics and analytics plus platform license, 50 million rows, 100 million rows. So this data, you could check this kind of a data which is available under in Salesforce when you're logging with Salesforce, right? So I log in with my Salesforce. Okay. Then now I can see here under Einstein, you can go to the Einstein, and under Einstein, you can look at, you could see here your under analytics, you could see here getting started. So here you can see here, once you enable your WCRM, you can see my basic edition. Mine is a basic edition because this is my training org, and I have almost like 250,000 rows are available because mine only 250,000 rows. But some customers like Tokopedia, Gojek, they up to goes to their 1 TB. You can see here 100,000, 50 million, 100 million rows, right? So you have so much of data which you could store. All your event log data will be stored under Salesforce. You could see number of data sets has been captured, 49 data sets available under event monitoring analytics. And at the same time, you could check it out where the data will be stored, as talked about. When I go to the Analytics Studio, so in the Analytics Studio, you can take a look at the event monitoring analytics app. When you log in with Einstein, guys, you just to click on create and click on app. Once you click on app, it will give you the template. You can see different templates I have, but here what you can check, you can just enter event monitoring analytics app. Just click on next, and then click on continue, and then click on continue again. So this is the data where it will ask you, this is already I created as a part of my initial demo. Now, if you want to create a new branded app, just click on continue, and then here it will give you all the data sets. It will ask you all the 41 data sets that what you are going to talk about. Here I'm going to put how many number of data available. If you want to include execute, yes. How many number of days you want to include. So here I'm going to talk about, you see, 1 to 30 days of data only. So as a part of training and all, what I normally feel is I want to 7 days because I want to keep only for the last 7 days data. Because you keep at a time 30 days data, right? Your complete data that what you have is going to be evaporated. That definitely gives you a lot of impact, and it doesn't rerun the next tomorrow. Tomorrow it will check you the number of rows available. If you don't have a rows available, then automatically the data won't be run and data flow will throw an error. So once you set up this app, automatically this is a kind of an app will be created. When you go to the apps, this is the user adoption event monitoring. So this data will give you all the metrics. You can see the 19 out of the box data dashboards which are available. And as I said, there are some real-time event monitoring logs are also available that comes with transaction security policies. The real-time monitoring. You just click on transaction security policies under event monitoring. And here, as I said, I've designed a couple of programmatic events. You can see login event, report event, all these events. You can see I'm going to create one transaction security using Condition Builder or Apex. Condition Builder, you can see what kind of login events are available. These are all the real-time events. When anybody anomaly looking at different kind of event store, anybody accessing API events with REST interface, bulk API, credential stuffing, list view, login event, permission set, report anomaly, report event, session hijacking. So these are all the real-time events available. You could just design. Let's take a login event, right? I have a condition where if country equals North Korea, if the people logging from North Korea, so what I'm doing is I'm going to put an action, block that guy, multi-factor authentication. If I want to block that guy, just click on block. And at the same time, you want to send a notification to the security admins. In-app notification, email notification, such as a security admin. And put the name of the respective blocking the user not to log in with North America. Put some description, make sure it should be enabled, and then click on finish. Simple. You see how simple the declarative components in Salesforce. Not in order to tighten your security, you don't require your the top level skill developers to be onboarded and then do all for you. A security admin or the security system specialist or analyst can take care of this. When it coming to different things, the one which I'm talking about, right? The people who are having an active session and then how they would want to do it. So this thing where we created one that is called through Apex. You could see here Apex concurrent user logging session alert or blocking user logging from different location if he is active session. So this is an Apex program that what we written. And you could see here the Apex condition that what I mentioned. You just click on Apex. So this is the class which I've written for a programmatic interface called this transaction security. And you could see here what we have mentioned. So we enable the max user session is 1, and then I'm calling this object. And you could see here the condition that what we mentioned. So if the person which is I've written a query on the authentication sessions where user ID will be the login event session, and I'm going to put some profile kind of a condition because system admin, I don't want to block with system admin because system admin is the one who keep logging to the platform and then do some kind of a checks, right? So those kind of people which have exempted here. But this is a kind of a program that you can return and use that program event inside your transaction security policies. The same thing, you can choose a login event, but you can choose Apex Clash and actions what I've written. Block the user, send an email notification to security admin, and put the name. That's it. See here, how simple is that in order to maintain or block the user and then notify to your security people. You see how I designed for alert login from US, block customer report without consent, block query, list view, account views, account page. If the person, one more thing, like, if the person is trying to access one single account, is one of the good account for the company, and that person within the system of user is trying to log in with the user system, and then like you have a girlfriend or something, you open your Instagram and then you're poking that girl all the time. The same way the guy is going and then monitoring or looking at the system every day at least 5 to 10 times. So if that is the case, and I'm blocking that guy, you can see here I'm blocking that guy using Apex event. The same thing, I've used login to Service Cloud, logging with iPhone or Android with lower version. I'm blocking this guy, query tickets, report export block, report cannot contain confidential field. So I've designed so many number of policies to have. I'm going to design what kind of actions I've done. I'm blocking that guy. I'm sending an email notification and in-app notification to my security admin, and I'm going to alert to the concerned person as well, right? So these are all the transaction security policies which you could easily design and then go and then alert your security heads to tackle down. At the same time, when I talked about different dashboards, right? As I told, each and every time, every day, the flow which is created when you create a new app, right? In the backend, there is one flow will be created. That flow is called event monitoring ELT data flow. This is a flow which comes with a managed package. When you create a new template, right, the flow will be automatically. So you can see here different kind of an object with SFDC digits as well as EdgeMart. So if you want to change something, you could change and then have some kind of extra output fields as well. The arguments will be created with different EdgeMarts as well. So if you want to add more number of information, you could add the information as well with this node. Okay. At the same time, as I said, all this event monitoring, which comes with different kind of out of the box dashboards. Those dashboards, like there are 19 dashboards which comes out of the box. You can see here different dashboards. If I'm going to look at the lighting performance, this lighting performance is the one which gives you entire details about your most effective page, effective times, page entitles, what is a most effective page, least responding page contests are really slow. So you'll get all this kind of information. Along with, you will see some kind of a dashboards. You see so many number of dashboards, right? If I can see anything which is called maybe REST API. So the REST API, which gives you the details about your REST API, your enterprise company using more APIs more heavily connected to different kind of third-party systems. So want to understand the impact of API quality and how often the REST APIs have been used, what is the total runtime, how the REST APIs has been hotspotted by endpoints. So all these kind of high fancy elements, which you can get it down, and then improvise your API quality and to relook at the API and then tweak some kind of an improvements all the time. At the same time, I can showcase some more. Maybe if I look at I've designed one dashboard, guys. This is the real-time logins. The real-time logins every 4 hours. This, as I told, there are some events which runs 24 hours, but there are some events, the real-time login event. This is the real-time events, right? So when I click on new, I see some real-time 7 to 8 objects, right? Based on those objects, I've designed one dashboard for the demo, guys. You can see here who logs the most. This dashboard will run every 4 hours because this is the real-time logins. You could see the people who are logging from and success or failures with login attempts based on the source IP, number of account logouts, abnormal number of account logouts, first-time user login with different types of IPs, rare user agent logins, and you could see the land speed anomaly. Land speed anomaly is nothing but, guys, as I said, right, people are really smart. So people logging from North Korea with one VPN and then the same guy logging with different VPN. So there is some kind of an account sharing reduction is going to be happen. So as a person, I've calculated the guy who logging from India and the same guy logging from United States with different IPs, check the latitude, longitude, and then get the distance out of it, and then log this guy, right? So, and if I feel something which is anomaly, what I can do is I can quickly go and then click on annotate. When I click on annotate to my security admin, it automatically captures the entire screenshot of the corresponding event. And then let's suppose I'm going to notify my security guy, Wallace, please take a look. I feel something is not good, this guy. Okay, and attach a screenshot. When I click on attach screenshot, click on share, it automatically notified to Alice with the screenshot. It automatically captures here, so you don't need to take a screenshot and then put upload again. So Salesforce by default takes the screenshot and then gives you some kind of a interface. You can see here the screenshot has been already captured. So like this, you could have more number of information to be annotated to your security teams, and then you have some level of information. Not only this, you can have some information. I'm going to showcase a couple of other things. Let's hide annotations, and at the same time, I feel like something is not good here. Let's annotate. Or if you feel something which you want to, you see here one thing I've designed, one with the logins with geolocation as well. You can see currently I have India and United States only. I have few logins because this is today's demo account, and I can see the India is a country, and I've logged in from India, and I can design different kind of a countries as well. It's very easy. And this login, real-time logins, I've designed using a Recipe. Recipe is the same like a data flow, but Recipe is quite easy. It's kind of a pure, it's quite easy. You could design very easily using the data sets. Under data flow, you can see Recipes, which is it is something like ETL tools, guys. You could just design your ETL transformations and then bring the data into data set. That's it. It's very simple. It's a common for all the ETL folks and ETL developers. I've just taken a login event. I've just taken a users, and these are all the source objects for me. And the question comes up, funny, you told the objects are available from event monitoring analytics app template, but where these objects comes from? These objects directly available in Big Objects in Salesforce. You can see those objects directly here under connect. You can connect up those data, login event, right? You can connect those data directly from Salesforce. Just click on SFDC local, and from here you could get this data directly. See here, login event, which already login as event. So these are all the data which is available and connected to some of the data connected to Big Objects, and then these data you can stream directly into Salesforce. First of all, to build this real-time login metrics, you have to get the data first from here, and then you have to run this data as an incremental sync or a full sync. Once you've done the full sync, first time you have to done a full sync, guys, based on the data complexity, data depth of data, you just run your connections with incremental so that it doesn't affect your data storage, right? So I created login event is one, users is the one. I've taken two local data sets, and after run these data sets, I use those data sets directly in the Recipe. And this Recipe I've connected using an outer join, and then bring this data set. You can see here, login event, users data. I use this outer join, and then I transform this data to create a data set. Once you do the transformation, automatically one data set will be created under backend, under data here. You see login user event. So this data which I have created in the backend, and based on this data, I've created a dashboard. You understand right now the concept of transformations? Source, build a Recipes or data flow, create a data set, use a data set to build a dashboard. The step-by-step process. Now I've leveraged this to create a real-time login metrics dashboard. You see, this is the dashboard. And when you want to build something, a new dashboard, you just click on edit. And then if you want to add some country-wise or something, you can just drag and drop. There are different components available. So you could drag and drop this dashboard here. And then once you drag and drop this dashboard, so you can just click on the chart. And once you click on the chart, you can see here different kind of data sets available. So I have 34 events available. So here, what I can do is I'll click on the bar. I'm going to choose maybe an active. So there are users which are active false, and on top of it, I want to drill down with maybe browser or maybe country. So Singapore, I've logged in 19 times from Singapore. Logged in false or true, and I'm going to use one more bar. I'm going to choose maybe browser, right? So it'll give you all the details. I'm going to change different kind of a charts as well based on my requirement. I'm going to make it maybe stack. I'm going to make it maybe stack bar. I'm going to make it maybe I'm gonna make it some polar guys. So different kind of a charts available, guys, based on the client's requirement. So you could definitely go and then try it out with different kind of a charts. And I know most of the folks are really, really passion to learn Einstein and Einstein Analytics. And this is the common interface for all the Einstein platform, not only for the event monitoring. And using this charts and different kind of things, you could make your graph charts so interactive for based on the customers, right? So this way you can build a dashboards with the real-time login metrics. And at the same time, I'm going to showcase a couple of dashboards as well. Let's go and then jump on to the demo, and then let me find out if anyone has any questions. Okay, if you have a Shield purchase, do we still need Einstein license to create dashboards based on event monitoring? Yes, Anish. Shield is separate SKU and event monitoring is separate SKU. So you have to purchase a Shield, and Shield, they'll ask you, you want a plain Shield or you want a combination of all three, right? If people will say that Shield you can get today, and maybe event monitoring you can get tomorrow. So I personally feel like it's a different SKU altogether. Shield is the product, but within the product you have three SKUs. One SKU is platform encryption. Okay, Shield is a bigger one. Okay, it's a top. Under Shield, you have one with the platform encryption. The second one is with event monitoring. Third one is a field audit trail. Okay. So if you purchase a Shield, right? Shield is very costly, very, very costly. So people feel like, no, I don't want three right now. I want only for one. That's called platform encryption. Platform encryption doesn't comes with analytics. That's confirmed. Point number 2, event monitoring. Event monitoring comes with Einstein Analytics. Okay, for your question, yes, event monitoring comes with Einstein Analytics and the platform audit trail. Platform audit trail also doesn't come with event analytics. Einstein licenses. So you have to purchase event monitoring plus Einstein Analytics both. It's not a combination package. You have to purchase both in a separate. You got it, right? So no questions. So let me go back to the presentation quickly, and then I'm going to run through a couple of other details. You can see here the event monitoring analytics with 50 million rows, 100 million rows, and different kind of editions are available. And you could see different kind of editions with different kind of features as well. And so what are the use cases of event monitoring? The one which I've told about, the user account compromises, abnormal login patterns, geo-consecutive logins, the one which I've talked about, right? Different geolocations. If people changing browsers, changing IPs, massive data exfiltration. So all these things as a part of compromises. And you can see here the one which I've talked about, user logins, security, the real-time user logins, login as, report downloads, REST API, the one which I've showcased, right? The different kinds of security and compliance dashboards. And you have setup audit trail files. So let me show a couple of other dashboards based on this. Maybe it'll give you some kind of a confidence as well. Let me go back and then just click on a couple of, you can see here, maybe I'm going to click on my trust. So because some of it has been long that I have, you see here, we only have 2 users in the platform. So you can see daily transaction count with all these events, and daily transactions PDPT, right, with all these event types, and a couple of other details where maybe I'll go to the files. In my current platform, I don't have any files, anything which I've downloaded. So data is nothing, 0 records. I can bring down maybe user-centric search. So user-centric search is something that I have designed. So that is something where my customer says that, funny, I mean, 19 dashboards, it's really tough to manage. Can you make it all these 19 into one single dashboard? I've said yes, I can do it using the flow. I've created one flow, one data flow. This data flow is nothing but you can see here, some demo data flow. So this demo data flow, which design a flow which talked about, yeah, you can see here the account information they want to see, opportunity information they want to see. So the basic information they want to see, I could design the login history in one single, audit trail, Lightning platform access, user access tracking, Visualforce classic ones, Lightning platform access, reports, user-wise, events with users, Apex, REST API, analytics, high number of content downloads, and then reports downloads. So you can see people who use the report downloaded 3 times, 2 times, on 100, how many percentage of report downloaded. So if they want, they can use annotate as well to let know their security managers to annotate and then get some information out of it. So this is a custom dashboard that I've built. So this is one of the use case where every manager I want to see everything in one single dashboard. So something like this you can design as well. And apart from this, you could see some other dashboards which I would like to talk about. Maybe Visualforce request. Visualforce is something where people from Classic hardly they'll use Visualforce page. So you can see their page hits, performance, adoption, as well as prioritization, raw log data, and other information, right? So these kind of dashboards mostly you can see in the event monitoring, and these all comes with out of the box. And on top of it, you could tweak the current data flow in order to satisfy the customer requirements as well. There is no stoppage of anything. It's completely support whatever you want to do it. Okay. Let me go to the presentation mode, and you can have different examples, right? So if as a service agent, I'm working with the field and I'm a service agent with some kind of an issues before I have some address performances. So you can see some kind of events where you integrated a third-party contract platform where service agents will go to the work location and do the work order management, right? They see some kind of Apex performance, and they were lacking of reports, taking longer time to load, and then some VF pages your developers build, and then slow weak code, weak kind of a pages. You have to prioritize, troubleshoot, and optimize. So these kind of things, as I've told, you have so much of you can see REST API, you can see the couple of dashboard that what I've showcased. All these dashboards will help you to achieve the use case that what I'm talking about. You could see here the Lightning adoption, Lightning performance, Apex execution. You can see the API, you can see the REST API. So all these kind of reports are the dashboards are available to satisfy the current customer use case, right? The same you can see here, the performance dashboard that what I'm talking about, Apex API, Visualforce, MyTrust. So these all will help you out to prioritize. You can see the prioritize which Apex class you need to fix to improve performance and load time of the custom patch. And you want to determine the Apex class, whether you should fix the Apex logic based on the CPU time versus the SOQL and DML interaction. So all those things will help you out to fix this, use this dashboard to fix all the below information, right? At the same time, APU, which help you out for CPU time performance, VF request, MyTrust. So these are all the kind of the best out of it, the best of the use cases which you could easily tackle on Lightning performance. And this is one of the use case again. So adoption of Lightning. So when there's a company which I work for normally, they have went Salesforce live on 2012, and now the system is the application they're using currently vast, and they would like to move the entire system to a Lightning interface. And currently, some of the Classic, they have some challenges with the Classic where they can't be able to access, or they can't be able to access files, and they can't be able to make the interfaces best out of breed. And you see here, right, when you build a normal Classic page and you're using a VF pages embedded into the related list, and you embedding all different VF pages, it's taking a lot of time to adopt, right? Because currently the system is very mature, and then people are really talking about different kind of interfaces, front-end technologies, open source, Code T9, Code T5. So all these fancy things comes. Now you're still Classic, then I want to move and I want to make an adoption. So how I want to make sure to check it out, how much traffic that the Lightning experience getting, and you want to understand, and then they figure it out. They would like to start doing a Lightning migration. Then they open a new developer sandbox, and then they have converted all their information, but they want to understand where they are exactly, how much adoption the user can take it, and what are all the action that they need to perform. So in order to get all the relevant reports and stats, so these are all the best out of it. The people look at the Lightning adoption, page views, dashboards, reports, and wave adoption. So all these kind of an engagement dashboards will help you out to really focus something on the Lightning migration adoption to move the users to the production, right? How easy, how interactive or intuitive the reports and dashboards which is available for the event monitoring, right? So I'm going to talk about one company, right? So there's a financial company. Where they do money transfers all the lending point. It's one of the best European company, and they do financial transaction with the mobile banking, mobile app transaction, right? and how the event monitoring that really help us to deliver the flexible loan securely to all their internal agents, to all their internal customers, how the agents will really help us to make the secure data out of it, right? So they're like they're most of the business with CRM. So they're run almost like 90% of their business on Salesforce, and Shield gives us the intelligence to safeguard their data and then create the unique customer values. So it's something like they have a challenge with the financial data. So they're like a growing rapidly lenders. They offer a full-fledged pricing on the personal loans as well as to understand the consumer experience. Correct. So for these guys, they want to make the granular visibility into how millions of financial data or the PI data will be accessing by each and every people, because there are different kind of support agents who help them to help them their internal customers to renew the policies or to have any kind of a policy questions where they can help us. There are thousands of people are sitting on Salesforce platform, and their security people are really headache to understand what's happening and what's going on, and people are really downloading some of the confidential information, and they're keeping their internal desktop. So in order to make sure how the current CRM really help us to bring the top insights to help and deliver their flexible loan securely, right? So these things are good solution that what we are talking about for the past 1 hour, even monitoring, right? You imagine, right, guys, for the last 1 hour, what we're talking about, how mature we're talking about in terms of the high real-time security, how mature we are in the current industry to keep all our data to be on the cloud, right? So what solution would give you the best out of the breed? And you're using CRM for the 90% of your entire business is in CRM. So they implemented a proactive monitoring dashboard to expose abnormal usage behavior on all daily basis, and they established security usage policies. And these company has been connected to Splunk. This company connected to Splunk to make all their millions of transaction data to be available in, they thought 30 days as per the product, and product is that's it, guys. The limitation is very vast, and then they really don't have a space to store somewhere. And currently what they thought is the product is good, but they want to have a more storage space. Then they integrated to Splunk, and some of the data moved to Splunk, and all the 32, 33 days, 30 days data will be available in last 30 days. Before days of data, before data will be wiped out at 8 p.m. of time. Before 1 hour, the job will run and then send all the data to Splunk, and the Splunk as a connector. Splunk will be stored under their Splunk logs, and Splunk has a different database altogether with Hadoop and Pig and Hive. So it comes with the whole package. If you have a good enterprise teams, enterprise customers, or the enterprise developers where they can really happy to connect with you. And guys, Splunk is very, very easy. It's a connector, configuration, selection, done. That's it. You don't need to apply any kind of an APIs. You don't need to apply any kind of a program adding as well. That's for sure. So the people think that can you take any proactive actions in real time to stop an event or something? Yes, as I've told, right, real time transaction policies. Yeah, I've shown you, right. You can block the people, block the user, and the threat detection, that what I'm talking about, the core Salesforce. So reports, as I said, people are downloading report, people are accessing reports. So there are some report anomalies which you can find out, some session hijacking. So automatically, threat detection is a kind of an artificial intelligence program which is developed by Salesforce, and then it's available inside event monitoring package. And this automatically, when you, based on the complete data of the millions of rows of data, threat detection is a package which automatically gives you the information and then create a records in the backend. Okay. So you don't need to worry about it. You just need to enable the threat detection. You just need to enable the threat detection, and then it automatically take you the entire headache. So you don't need to do anything. It run the batch jobs and it automatically create the product. It automatically creates the records inside Salesforce, right? So I already given you the demo, guys. So at the time of showing, I already showcased you all the reports, how to create and how to check the data and everything. So it's very easy that what I've told, and it's very flexible, very configurable to leverage, and you don't require a developer to do all these activities. An administrator can help you out to enable this. Okay, so these are all some of the best practices. Determine the use cases before implementing, and identify the event monitoring and how it can be doable. And as I said, for example, managing reports, transaction security, feed into SIEM like Splunk Enterprise Security. Let's try to integrate Splunk and then leverage the Splunk at most by many enterprise companies, and then use a Splunk. I very heavily use this. I'm a Splunk. I love Splunk basically. I'm a Splunk engineer before I jumped into Salesforce. I heavily use Splunk because I'm initially worked with TIBCO and many of the API enterprise systems. So Splunk I heavily used, and then I use most of the Splunk features because I like Hadoop and HDFS architecture and all the high-level transportation layer architecture as well. And you see here the EM analytics data will schedule and wait for 24 hours for the data flow to run. So only last 24 hours data, you will last 24 hours, the real data. If you want to do transaction now, the data tomorrow you can see. So that's the problem. And apart from this, you have real-time event monitoring, real-time objects available to have a real-time logins. And all the Salesforce as a click and configure. You can see the maximum out of the implementation is click and configure. And it just requires some kind of a brains to put all together into use cases and then build some kind of a dashboard for your internal customers as well. And you can easily upgrade the app based on the every release, and new features will be run, and then you can easily upgrade the app. So you just need to, when you want to upgrade the app, you just go and then you just go to this and then just click on the apps, and then here you have already an app available, right? User adoption event monitoring. Just click on this, just click on run app. So here you can run the app. At the same thing, if you want to change, because I currently configured this for 7 days, right? If you want to configure this for more than 7 days normally, so what you can do is you just click on app, just click on event monitoring, and then click on event monitoring. So you have to choose the existing app. So it'll ask you to continue, choose an existing app, and then here you could modify this to maybe 25 days. If you want to increase the days from 7 to 26, just click on 26 and then click on looks good and next. When you click on looks good and next, after completion of the step 7, and it will give you a submit, click on submit. Once you click on submit, automatically the app will be upgraded. Okay. So that is one of upgradation concept. And the rest all, you can see the Trailhead, the fun way to learn Salesforce. There are some event monitoring sessions available in Trailhead. So please go through and then learn event monitoring, transaction security policies, and analytics as well. And these are some of the best practices. The practice blogs and developer guides are available. And once again, I think the time is limited. I have 2 minutes and I have to look at the question that anyone has posted. Thank you so much for the Park Dreamin to have this opportunity. And really, congratulations, guys. You guys are really superb. And I really love to come to Pakistan, but unfortunately, it's not going to happen with this COVID and the pandemic. And I really congratulate you to each and every person who involved in this Park Dreamin, and thank you for the opportunity again. So let me look at the questions, if anything, and after this, I'm going to wrap up the session. So how many Einstein licenses come with event monitoring? Yes, it is 5. As I said initially, so when you purchase event monitoring, Einstein licenses will come. But it's at 2 different SKUs. When you purchase event monitoring, and Einstein Analytics also will come with the package. But I'm not sure on that actually whether it's coming Einstein Analytics as well. But as Abhijit said, it comes with the 5 automatic licenses with the event monitoring package. I need to check once again, guys. But I'll check and then I'll post in my LinkedIn. Probably Anish, and I'll pin to Anish in the post. Just check that out. Yeah, as Abhijit said, it comes with 5 licenses with an event monitoring. The 5 Einstein licenses will come with 1 event monitoring SKU. Any other questions, team? Any other questions, guys? Okay, I think I have only 1 minute. If anyone has any question, just please reach out to me. My name is Phanindra Arigichatta, and then you can see my LinkedIn page, LinkedIn everything. So I can showcase. I have my blog is available. My blog is salesforce.wordpress.com. So it's one of the blogs which is recently gone a couple of quiet places in Salesforce. So I have hit almost like 1.5 million in Salesforce. So you could see all my event monitoring as well in this blog. And this is my website. And if anyone want to reach out my LinkedIn, so you could check it out with the name Phanindra Arigichatta, and then you could look at my LinkedIn as well here. Yep. So once again, thank you so much for the opportunity, Park Dreamin, and really love to connect with you guys one more time. Happy to collaborate and then continue working with you guys, and then come with a good session going forward. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Vinendra. This was a very detailed and an excellent session. Thank you for joining us today, and especially over a weekend, and giving us your time.